the truth nobody wants to hear. We will continue to feel burned out. We will continue to have digestive issues. We will continue to be even angry. Healing isn't always about trying harder. Hi, and welcome back to Healthy by Design, from stressed to blessed. And I want to start out by saying my healing and the healing of every woman I've ever worked with doesn't start by adding more supplements, more regimens, more practices, more therapies. It often started when we stopped overwhelming our bodies. By the way, my name is Jami McQuivey. I am a holistic nutritionist and a digestive specialist, and for 20 years I have been doing this. I have watched God heal the bodies of so many women and help them live their divine assignment, especially women who are high-performing Christian women, because there are patterns deeply embedded in us that until we, one, recognize them and to adjust them and heal from them, we will continue to feel burned out. We will continue to have digestive issues. We will continue to be even angry and frustrated and gain weight and feel tired. In this video, I'm going to show you how stopping a habit can often be more powerful than starting a new one. And we will cover 3 things you need to stop doing that are blocking your body from healing. And almost every single, I would have to say every single high-performing Christian woman is doing this. And by the end, you will know how to set yourself up for success, finally feeling like yourself again, so you can fully show up and live the life God called you to do. The third habit that I'm going to share with you to stop is the most powerful habit, and it's one of the most overlooked. Let's dive in. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I want you to really understand why this is so important. There's a story. A young woman wanted healing more than anything. And so she read every book, she tried every protocol, and was doing all the things: supplements, cleanses, elimination diets, more discipline. If she could do ice baths, if she could get up right when the sun was coming up, if she could get light in her eyes at the end of the day, if she could fit in her breathing practice and have mostly raw food, she was doing all the things, more striving. So every day she pushed harder. She followed every rule perfectly, because we know that high-performing Christian women, that we have this discipline, and then that with them we can fall off the wagon a little bit, and then we feel bad. So we know we have this discipline. So every day she pushed harder. She followed every rule, like I said, and yet she felt no closer to healing. So one morning, while she was sitting there exhausted, kind of ruminating, frustrated with another round of doing everything right, having her full list of protocols taken care of, a wise mentor was sitting nearby, and she was polishing a brick with a stone. She could hear scratch, scratch, scratch. And the sound continued for a while. And you know, this woman is already agitated. She's already feeling on edge. Finally, she just turned and said, "What are you doing?" And the mentor replied, "I'm polishing this brick so it will become a mirror." The woman looked at her and then laughed at her and said, "That's impossible. No matter how long you polish a brick, it will never become a mirror." The mentor nodded and said, "No matter how long you keep adding more effort, more rules, more striving, you cannot heal your body that is just asking you to stop." The woman suddenly understood. Healing isn't always about trying harder. Sometimes it's about surrender. Stopping what's depleting or causing us stress so your body finally has room to do what it was designed to do. So the first thing I stopped doing was wolfing down my food. And I know maybe that's not what you expected to hear, but I was doing everything in such a state of fight or flight, with my body braced and not at rest, and every meal felt like a race. I had 3 sons, so it was like, eat as fast as you can, because you know one of them's going to get up and one of them to start crying, someone's going to drop this. And I remember just eating so fast. And you can't digest food in this survival mode. Your body has to feel safe to actually break it down. So instead of wolfing my food down, Here's what I replaced it with. I replaced it with just taking 5 deep breaths before I ate. And this was telling my nervous system that we're safe now. Everything is okay. In the beginning, maybe it's just meal times you're doing this. And hopefully throughout the rest of your day, it grows and grows and grows. And you're really starting to learn to live in that safety zone. The next thing I replaced the wolfing my food down with was expressing gratitude. Now, I want to break this one apart a little bit, because in the beginning, we sit there and say, oh, I'm grateful for, oh, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my car, I'm grateful for my body. But I actually want you to pause and feel grateful. The scriptures say that we are to be grateful. That's a state of being. It doesn't say in the scriptures to list everything that you should be grateful for or that's on your list and just say it out loud, but it's to feel it, it's to be grateful. So when we take those deep breaths and we sit there and we allow the state of gratitude to well up. And in the beginning, it's a little challenging because we're so used to being crazy that this idea can be very, very not what our body or mind is used to, and we're used to just rattling things off rather than actually feeling and moving into our body. This isn't just about saying a quick prayer, but actually feeling thankful before the first bite. All right, the third thing I did after I stopped wolfing my food down was trying to chew each bite 20 times. Now, this is slowing down enough to let my body catch up with my fork. So I would, eat. So take a bite and put your fork down and then chew and breathe and feel grateful, right? Stopping this habit of chaos for just these moments throughout the day can really, really change your health. And it changes your perspective too. All right, if you want to go deeper on the things I'm about to share, I do have a free training and the link is in the description. But let's move on to the second thing I stopped doing. Now, this one was a hard one, and it's something that I had to learn the hard way, but it's also something that I repeatedly practice. And this is, I stopped overscheduling myself. I know so many women are gonna be like, but I have so much to do and so many people are depending on me and life gets so hard and it's so whatever. I want you to pause for a minute and think, if God is at the helm and we are his helpers, then he's not asking us to run faster than we have strength. And I used to think, yeah, but I still have a little bit of strength left. Yeah, I could, instead of running, I could crawl. Instead of crawl, I could drag myself. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Let me say that again. Just because you can does not mean you should. We often treat busyness like a badge of honor, but busyness isn't holy. It's a sign that your nervous system is running on survival instead of trust. If you are filling every hour because slowing down makes you feel anxious, you think, if I stop, I'm not going to get up. This is not discipline. It's wearing your body down. That's fear wearing a planner, right? So it's like this anxiety, this fear, and we're just going to plow through it. We're going to stay busy. I had to learn 3 things. That just because I could doesn't mean I should. We talked about that. To give God my first fruits. That means when I'm tithing, it's the money first that I give back to him, which is the tithe is 1/10. And we could talk about that later, but that's the first fruits. That's the best. But what do I do with my time? Do I give him the leftovers? Do I give him the quick bites? Or do I give him the first fruits? Do I sit with him and share with him at the beginning of my day and get his rhythm into my heart and into my mind and into my day? What does he want me to do? How does he want me to plan my day? And then really, really step into that. Again, with that, busyness isn't a badge of honor. It's a sign, again, that the nervous system is running on survival instead of trust. Okay, so now How do I do this? Every Sunday, my husband and I have something called McQuivey minutes. So for about a half hour every Sunday, we have just a quick little meeting where we check in emotionally, we check in spiritually, we check in financially, we check in on our schedules. So this is something, and I've actually taught my sons to do this with their wives. And so you do this half hour check-in, and he helps me go, your day's getting a little, or your week's getting a little full. So where can he maybe help me, or where can I start saying no and being very intentional? And this is going to change the way you look at things. So when you feel safe, when you feel financially safe, when you feel time safe, when you feel that you can have a moment to sit with the Lord at the beginning of your day and even at the end, and that sitting and breathing and enjoying. And this is something I love in Genesis, is that each day that the Lord created something, he said, and it was good. That means he sat and he enjoyed it. You don't just sitting there going, today was good, today worked, right? But if so many of us are running on empty, then it's like, today was frazzled, I didn't get done what I needed to get done. So again, the first thing I stopped doing was wolfing down food, and started being really intentional with what I was taking into my body, how I was taking it into my body, expressing gratitude. And then the second one is I stopped overscheduling, stopped using it as a badge of honor or something that kept me busy so I didn't have to deal with maybe some feelings that were going on. And the third thing, so here's the place that nobody talks about. And so this is the power of our words. So I have a story about this. When I was sitting in church one Sunday, a woman raised her hand in class and was talking about how important it was for her and her kids to vent every night, that there was this power in getting it out, and she made it seem like it was just such a valuable time for her and her children. And right then the Holy Spirit whispered, this is a lie, a common practice, but it's not biblical and it's not godly. And so what do? I go straight to the scriptures. And this is what I want you ladies to know. When someone says something, often they'll say it with authority, and we think that it is true, that it is godly, that it is biblical. I want you to go right to your scriptures and ask them, where do you see that? Because if you want to know, like I do that to people and they're like, oh, turn here. Oh, okay. Then I go home and I study it, because people will say things like, life is hard and we just let go and let God. And that's actually not biblical. Christ says he comes to give life and to give it more abundantly. God talks about asking and receiving. He talks about having joy in the hard times. He talks about all of these things. And then we have inspired action. We're not just supposed to let go and let God, unless what you mean by that is let go and let God lead you forward, right? So we have to start taking these little things that people say and really see if they are biblical. So I went straight to the scriptures, and here's what I found. 2 Timothy 2:16, Paul tells us to avoid godless chatter because it leads people farther away, not closer to peace. So here this family is sitting together, spending their quality, valuable family time, chattering away about godlessness. And how many times do we do that with our friends or with our family? Another scripture, and this is just the first ones I found. I've found so many, so I'm just going to share a few with you. Job 22:28, when you decide a thing and speak it, it will be established. So your words have weight. So if you're saying things like, I'm always sick, this sucks, I hate this job, I don't like her, she's stupid, all of these things that actually saying those things actually hurt my heart now, when they may have been very prominent in my words, are now things that, it kind of makes me. And so when I hear women go, oh, it's just the way I am, I'm like, oh, no, use your words to create joy, to create gratitude, that feeling of gratitude we talked about. And it doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge what's going on. So sometimes I'm very particular about my words. Let's say that I'm tired. I try to never say I'm tired. I like to say, I am feeling tired or I'm experiencing some tiredness. However, I'm so grateful that I get this opportunity to rest. I'm so grateful that I'm supported in this. Then in Proverbs 18:21, it says, the tongue has the power of life and death, and what we speak, we eat the fruit of. So I don't know about you, but I want my fruit to be sweet and I want it to be plentiful. I do not want it to be bitter and sparse and woody and sharp. I want it to be beautiful. In Colossians 3:8, it says we're told to put away anger, rage, and slander from our mouths. Venting often dresses these up as release. Oh, I'm just saying, but what that does is it creates more. In 1 Peter 3:10, if you want to love life and see good days, keep your tongue from evil. So you can see there's this pattern. It says it several times throughout the scriptures, and I haven't even scratched the surface of sharing this with you. So I stopped venting. That was the third thing I did. I stopped venting and started to intentionally speak life. Life over my body, life over my mind, life over my situation, life over my relationships. And then I found it incredibly more powerful to say it out loud. And so now I like to go on my morning walks. And years ago when I started this, I had cord earphones so people wouldn't think I was crazy. Now we have cordless and everybody just assumes you're talking to somebody on the phone. But I would walk, and I would start to feel this joy fill up and like, what can I be grateful for? And now on the days that I didn't feel joyful right out of the gate, I started small. Like, I'm grateful I get to go outside on this walk. And then I start to feel it, start to breathe it in. Okay, I'm grateful that my heart pumps. And I've been around many, many sick people. So I'm always thinking I'm so grateful that my organs work well, like that I can urinate. I've been around people who can't even pee. I'm so grateful that my liver's working. I'm grateful that I can see. I'm grateful for my ears. And so I start to get really grateful for my body, and I start to get a hop in my step, right? And then I start really proclaiming, Lord, I am grateful for this beautiful day. I am grateful for this and this person and this situation. And one of the things I love to do is if there's something hard in my life, then don't focus on the hard thing, because that's too hard. We're not grateful for it. And that's why I love the scripture says, be grateful in all things. It doesn't say be grateful for all things, but in all things. So even in this struggle, I start to pick things as close as I can to the situation to be grateful for. And you start to really get into the habit. In the beginning, you feel weird and it just doesn't feel like it's going to work. But as you start doing it, you literally start to change and conjure up these feelings, and it feels so amazing. Let me show you the biggest mistake people make. They think there's one thing, one supplement, one practice, but there are patterns and principles to healing, and they come from one source, and that's what people are seeking. They're seeking the one source, and that is God. But they're trying to seek it in the one supplement, the one practice, the one thing. And there is only one thing, and that is God. And in Him, there are tools. And oftentimes, there's many of these tools that we implement, that we practice here. So healing is not about adding more and more and more. It's about learning to work from blessed, not stressed. It's about doing less and trusting God more. It's about resting and doing intentional things throughout our day. It's about saying no to all the things and saying yes to the most important things. And in my program, this is what we talk about. That's why it's a year long, because we need to learn, well, first we need to start feeling better. We need to learn how to change our minds. We need to learn how to balance our hormones. We need to learn how to really detoxify and heal our bodies. But the most important part is we need to learn to walk in wisdom. And for the next couple of days, what I would love you to do is stop one of these things. Stop eating in survival mode. So stop wolfing your food down. Stop filling every minute of every hour and stop venting and start speaking life. So just maybe pick one of those to stop this week. Not all three, just one. And put in the comments the one that you struggle with the most, and two, the one that you're going to practice this week, because I am super excited to hear how it goes for you, because I really do pray over each person who comments, and I look forward to your comments. Some of you get shy and private message me, which is fine, but let's build this community so people know that there's others out there doing this. If any of these three stops really hit home today, here is your next step. I've built a free training for just you for 7 days, a digestive reset kit for high-performing Christian women, where we stop doing the things that are causing our bodies to be stressed and out of control and feel out of control. And we're going to step into simple practices. It's practical, and it's going to help you start living from blessed and not stressed. So the link is in the description. Go grab it today. And remember, you don't heal by doing more. You heal by trusting more. Do less and watch God do more in your life. And I'll see you in the next video.